The message arrived on a Tuesday morning, though later no one would remember why that detail mattered. Captain Hyun sat in his command chair aboard the Pathfinder, watching the alien signal decode itself on every screen in the ship. The translation was perfect, too perfect. It meant they had been watching humanity for a long time. "Captain, you need to see this," Dr. Bo Young said from her station. Her hands shook as she transferred the data to his console. "All of it," Hyun read in silence. The message called itself a First Contact Protocol package from something named the Galactic Dominion. 47 alien species. 12,000 years of civilization. Ancient laws that governed all thinking beings in known space. And now, humanity had been noticed. The list of requirements filled thousands of pages. Surrender 40% of Earth's resources immediately. Modify human genetics to reduce aggressive tendencies. Limit space travel to approved zones only. Restructure all governments under Dominion oversight. Condition all children to accept Dominion authority. The list went on and on. "They want us to change everything about who we are," Bo Young whispered. Ambassador Hana Choi entered the bridge, her face pale. She had been reading the same message in her quarters. "Do they say what happens if we refuse?" Hyun pulled up the final section. The words were simple and direct. Non-compliant species are cleansed. Compliance is expected within 1 solar rotation of this world. This is the only warning provided. 1 rotation, Hana said. That's 1 day. They're serious. Operative Kwan spoke from the shadows near the back of the bridge. No one had noticed him arrive. He had a talent for that. "I've analyzed their signal source. The power readings are beyond anything we've ever measured. If they wanted to destroy us, they could do it from wherever they are now." Hyun stood and walked to the main viewport. Earth hung below them, blue and green and fragile. 4 billion people down there had no idea that aliens existed, let alone that those aliens were demanding humanity's surrender. "What did the other species do?" he asked. "The ones who came before us?" Bo Young worked her console quickly. "The data package includes historical records. 23 species were offered these terms. 23 species accepted within hours. There are notes about 11 others. They're listed as extinct. Cleansed for non-compliance is the official record." Silence filled the bridge. The hum of the ship's systems seemed too loud. Hana straightened her shoulders. "We need to contact Earth. The Security Council needs to decide." "There's nothing to decide," Kwan said quietly. "If we accept, humanity becomes slaves. If we refuse, they kill us all. Then we accept," Hana said. "We survive. We find another way later." "There is no later," Hyun said. He was still looking at Earth. "I've read the genetic modification requirements. They want to change how we think, how we feel. They want to remove the parts of us that make us human. Our children won't remember what we were. In 3 generations, we'll be something else entirely. Something that serves them. Better alive than dead," Hana argued. Hyun turned to face her. "My grandfather told me stories about the outer colony collapse. Corporations controlled everything. They owned the air people breathed. When the colonies couldn't pay, the companies shut down the oxygen systems. 2 million people suffocated in their own homes." "I know the history," Hana said softly. "Then you know what he told me before he died." "He said the worst part wasn't the dying. It was the years before, when everyone knew it was coming, and did nothing. When they accepted it because fighting seemed too hard." Hyun's voice was steady. "He made me promise something. He said if I ever had the power to stop people from becoming slaves, I should use it. Even if the cost was high." Bo Young looked up from her console. "Captain, we can't fight them. Look at these weapon specifications. They can ignite stars. They can tear apart planets. We have missiles and hope." "I know," Hyun said. He walked back to his command chair and sat down. "Send a message to the Dominion. Keep it simple. 2. Climb." "What should it say?" Hana asked. Hyun thought about his grandfather. He thought about every human who had ever chosen to stand up when standing up seemed impossible. He thought about what humanity was and what it would become if they surrendered. "One word," he said. "No, Captain, please think about this," Hana pleaded. 4 billion lives. I am thinking about them. All of them. Every single one. Hyun activated the communication system himself. His command codes gave him that authority. He typed one word and sent it directly to the Dominion signal source. The bridge stayed silent for a long moment. Then the response came. It was faster than light-speed communication. Proof of technology humanity barely understood. The message was short. Your response is unclear. Compliance is not optional. Clarify immediately. Hyun sent another message. Our response is clear. We refuse your terms. We will not comply. The next response took longer. Hyun imagined confusion on the other end. Aliens who had never heard the word no from a species facing extinction. You do not understand. Refusal means death. All of your kind. Your world will be cleansed. This is your final opportunity to comply. Hyun looked at his crew. Bo Young was crying quietly. Hana had her head in her hands. Kwan watched with dark, unreadable eyes. Send this, Hyun said. We understand perfectly. We choose death over slavery. We choose to remain human. Do what you must. He sent the message before anyone could stop him. The Dominion's final message arrived 30 seconds later. Enforcer Fleet Sigma 9 has been dispatched to your location. Estimated arrival: 30 solar rotations. Use this time to reconsider. Compliance remains available until cleansing begins. 30 days. Earth had 30 days to prepare for the end of humanity. Hyun opened a channel to Earth's Security Council. This is Captain Hyun, of the Pathfinder. We've made first contact with an alien civilization. They've demanded our surrender. I have refused on behalf of all humanity. We have 30 days before their war fleet arrives. I suggest we use that time to prepare for war. The channel exploded with voices, anger, fear, accusations of treason. Hyun muted them all. Did I just kill everyone on Earth? He asked quietly. Kwan stepped forward into the light. Maybe. Or maybe you just gave humanity a chance to die on its feet instead of living on its knees. That's not much comfort, Bo Young said through her tears. No, Hyun agreed. But it's all we have. Now we find a way to make it count. He looked at Earth one more time, memorizing the way it looked before the war began, before everything changed, before humanity learned what it really meant to walk where fear could not reach. Earth tore itself apart in the first week. Half the world's governments wanted to send an immediate surrender. The other half scrambled to build weapons they knew would not be enough. The United Nations held emergency sessions every 6 hours, and every session ended in shouting. Captain Hyun watched it all from orbit, feeling the weight of what he had done. He had made the choice for everyone. Some called him a hero. Most called him a mass murderer, who had not yet finished his killing. They're going to arrest you, Bo Young said, sitting beside him in the empty observation deck. When we return to Earth, the Security Council will charge you with crimes against humanity. I know, Hyun said. They should. I made a choice that wasn't mine to make. Then why did you do it? Hyun was quiet for a long time. Because someone had to. If we voted on it, we would have argued until the fleet arrived. Half would say yes, half would say no. And in the end, fear would have won. It always does when you give it enough time to work. Bo Young pulled up her data pad. I've been doing research. Secret research. I contacted scientists from other species in the Dominion through hidden channels. She looked around even though they were alone. They're not allowed to talk to us. But some did anyway. They told me things. What things? The Dominion is afraid of something. These compliance protocols aren't about control. They're about prevention. Every species that joins is tested for specific genetic markers. If those markers are found, the species is either modified to remove them or destroyed completely. What markers? Hyun asked. The ability to function without existential fear. Most intelligent species have a survival instinct that makes them submit when facing certain death. It's rational. It's logical, but some species have a mutation that breaks that instinct. They can look at certain death and still choose to fight. Hyun felt something cold in his stomach. And humans have this mutation. 60% of our population carries at least partial markers. That's the highest percentage the Dominion has ever encountered. Most species have less than 1%. Bo Young's hands shook. The scientists who contacted me said there was one other species with high markers. 12,000 years ago. The Dominion calls them the primordials. What happened to them? They fought the Dominion for 200 years. They lost. But they killed billions and destroyed entire Dominion worlds before they fell. Since then, the Dominion tests every new species. They eliminate the dangerous ones before they can become a threat. So we were doomed from the start, Hyun said. Yes. Whether we said yes or no, they were going to destroy us. The compliance protocols were just a test. They wanted to see if we would submit out of fear. When you said no, you confirmed what their genetic scans already showed. We're like the primordials. We're dangerous. Before Hyun could respond, alarms blared through the ship. He ran to the bridge with Bo Young close behind. The crew was already at their stations. Report, Hyun ordered. Contact, the sensor officer said. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. They're not the main fleet. They're too small. Identify them, Hyun commanded. One ship is broadcasting Dominion codes. Diplomatic carrier. Designation. Eternal Concordance. The others are escort vessels. 12 of them. Hana arrived on the bridge, breathless. They sent diplomats? Why would they do that if they're planning to kill us? Kwon emerged from wherever he had been hiding. Because they're arrogant. 12,000 years of every species surrendering has made them sloppy. They think we'll change our minds when we see their ships up close. Or, Bo Young said slowly, they want to study us before we're extinct. Understand what makes us tick. The communication console lit up. They're hailing us, Captain. Put them through, Hyun said. The alien that appeared on the screen was tall and covered in scales that shimmered like oil on water. Its eyes were golden and showed no emotion Hyun could recognize. I am Diplomatic Executor Vesh of the Eternal Concordance. I speak for the Dominion Council. Your response to our compliance package was unexpected. I thought it was clear, Hyun said. Nothing is clear with your species. We have come to understand your position. The Dominion is prepared to revise the compliance terms. The genetic modifications can be postponed for 1 generation. The resource extraction can be reduced to 30%. These are significant concessions. The answer is still no, Hyun said. Vesh tilted its head in what might have been confusion. You understand that Enforcer Fleet Sigma-9 will arrive in 23 solar rotations. You cannot survive that encounter. Probably not, Hyun agreed. But we'll face it anyway. This is irrational. You doom your species for nothing. There is no honor in extinction. There is no victory in death. Maybe not, Hyun said. But there's also no slavery in the grave. We stay free until the end. That's victory enough. Vesh stared at him for a long moment. The Dominion Council believed you were like the others, afraid but posturing. Now I see they were wrong. You truly do not fear death. Oh, we fear it, Hyun said. We just fear losing ourselves more. The transmission ended abruptly. Kwon checked his console. The Eternal Concordance is holding position. Escort ships are forming a defensive perimeter. They're waiting for orders, Bo Young said. They don't know what to do with us. Hyun looked at Kwon. You've been planning something. I see it in your face every time you think no one is watching. What is it? Kwon smiled. And it was not a pleasant expression. I've been recruiting people. The kind Earth's governments don't like. Pirates. Smugglers, criminals who don't care much for authority. I've also been collecting equipment, weapons, ships, things that fell off official records. How many people? Hyun asked. Enough. And I leaked information to the Dominion through back channels. Made it look like Earth's leaders were close to surrender. Made them think sending diplomats instead of battleships first would work. You wanted them to bring a smaller force, Hana realized. I wanted them to make a mistake, Quan said. For 12,000 years, every species has surrendered. They've forgotten how to fight species who don't care about dying. They brought 13 ships. We can't beat 3,000. But 13? Maybe. You want to attack them, Bo Young said. That diplomatic carrier. I want to show the Dominion that humans don't just refuse to kneel. We bite when cornered, even if it kills us. Quan activated a hidden communication channel. I have 600 ships waiting in the asteroid belt. Military vessels that went rogue. Civilian ships with weapons welded to their hulls. Mining ships with crews that want to die fighting instead of waiting. This is insane, Hannah said. If we attack a diplomatic vessel, any chance of peace is gone. There was never any chance of peace, Quan said. Bo Young's research proves that. They were always going to kill us. I'd rather hurt them first. 2. Hyun looked at Earth below. Looked at the Dominion ships on his screen. Thought about his grandfather and 2 million people suffocating because no one fought back. How do we win? He asked Quan. We don't. We make them bleed. We make them remember us. Quan pulled up tactical displays. We hit them fast. All 600 ships at once. We target the Eternal Concordance. Even if we die, we take that ship with us. First blood. First victory. First time the Dominion realizes humans fight differently. Bo Young grabbed Hyun's arm. Captain, please, this starts a war we cannot win. The war started the moment they demanded our surrender, Hyun said. He opened channels to every human ship in the system. Military, civilian, all of them. This is Captain Hyun. The Dominion has sent ships to our home. They expect us to surrender or die quietly. I say we teach them what humans do when cornered. All ships, prepare for combat. We attack in 1 hour. For Earth. For humanity. For everyone who ever chose to stand instead of kneel. Responses flooded in. Some refused. Some called him insane. But enough said yes. Enough agreed to fight. Quan's hidden fleet emerged from the asteroid belt. 600 ships burning hard toward the Dominion position. No going back now, Quan said. There never was, Hyun replied, and gave the order to attack. The Dominion escort ships detected the human fleet when it was still an hour away. Hyun watched their formations shift from casual patrol to defensive positions. They were confused. Their sensors told them 600 ships were approaching at attack speed, but 600 human ships should not have been a threat to even one Dominion vessel. They're hailing us, the communications officer said, warning us to stand down. Ignore it, Hyun ordered. All ships, maintain course and speed. The Eternal Concordance was massive, 10 times larger than Earth's biggest space station. Its escorts were sleeker, built for speed and destruction. Their weapons could turn a city into glass from orbit. Humanity's missiles were primitive toys by comparison. Quan stood at the tactical station, coordinating the attack. The escorts will try to screen the carrier. We need to punch through fast. The mining ships go first. They're already dead anyway. Might as well make it count. Hyun hated the cold logic but knew it was right. The mining ships were slow, heavily armored from years of working in dangerous asteroid fields. They would draw fire while the faster vessels got through. 10 minutes to weapons range, the sensor officer announced. Bo Young watched from her station, her face pale. I'm reading the carrier's specs. Its shields can withstand a direct nuclear strike. Multiple strikes. Our weapons won't even scratch it. Then we get creative, Quan said. He switched to a private channel with the mining ship commanders. Hyun could not hear what he said, but he saw the mining vessels change course, spreading out in a wide formation. The Dominion ships opened fire first. Beams of concentrated energy lanced through space, punching through the lead mining ship like it was paper. The vessel broke apart in silence, its crew dead in an instant. Return fire, Hyun commanded. All weapons, all ships. Engage at will. 600 ships unleashed everything they had. Missiles streaked toward the Dominion fleet. Railgun slugs moved at a fraction of light speed. Energy weapons that humanity barely understood how to use discharged in brilliant flashes. The Dominion escorts' shields lit up like small suns as they absorbed the attack. Their defensive systems tracked and destroyed 90% of the incoming fire, but 10% got through, and there were so many shots that 10% was enough. One escort ship took a railgun slug to its engine section. The explosion was small, but the damage was critical. The ship began to drift, shields flickering. "They can be hurt," Hana whispered. "Everything can be hurt," Quan said. "You just need to hit it enough times." The Dominion fleet adjusted their tactics. Instead of firing at individual ships, they began carpet-bombing areas of space. Entire sections of the human fleet vanished in coordinated strikes. 30 ships gone, 50, 70. But the humans kept coming. When ships died, the survivors used the debris as cover, hiding in the wreckage of their own dead. When weapons ran out of ammunition, pilots rammed their vessels into enemy shields, sacrificing themselves to overload the defensive systems for just a few seconds. Hyun watched a cargo hauler called the Promise crash directly into an escort ship. The hauler's captain had broadcast a message before impact. "Tell my daughter I chose this. Tell her it mattered." The escort's shields collapsed. For 3 seconds, the ship was vulnerable. In those 3 seconds, 20 human vessels concentrated their fire on that single point. The escort ship came apart like a flower blooming in reverse, petals of metal spinning off into the dark. "First kill," Quan said quietly. 12 more to go. But the cost was horrible. The human fleet was dying faster than it could inflict damage. 200 ships gone. 300. The math was simple and brutal. At this rate, every human vessel would be destroyed before they even reached the Eternal Concordance. "The carrier is charging its main weapon," Bo Young reported. "If it fires, it will kill everything in a 1,000-kilometer radius." "How long until it's ready?" Hyun asked. 4 minutes. Quan activated his secret channel again. "All mining ships, final protocol. You know what to do." The remaining mining vessels suddenly changed course, burning their engines at maximum thrust, directly toward the Eternal Concordance. The Dominion escorts tried to intercept, but there were too many targets moving too fast. "What are they doing?" Hana asked. "Winning," Quan said. The mining ships did not fire weapons. They simply accelerated, pushing their engines beyond safety limits. One by one they slammed into the carrier's shields. Each impact sent ripples across the protective barrier. The shields held, but they were designed to stop energy weapons and explosives, not massive chunks of metal and rock moving at suicidal speeds. The 5th mining ship to hit carried something special. Quan had loaded its cargo hold with unstable reactor cores, set to overload on impact. When it struck the carrier's shield, the explosion was larger than a nuclear weapon. The shield flickered and died. For 10 seconds, the Eternal Concordance was naked to attack. "All ships, concentrate fire on the carrier," Hyun transmitted. "Everything you have." Now, what remained of the human fleet, less than 200 ships, unleashed every weapon they possessed at the unshielded carrier. Missiles, railguns, lasers, plasma charges, even small arms fire from desperate crews who opened airlocks and shot rifles into space. The carrier's hull, never designed to take direct fire, came apart in sections. Atmosphere vented from 1,000 holes. Internal explosions rippled through its structure. The massive ship began to list, its engines failing. "The escorts are breaking formation," the sensor officer shouted. "They're protecting the carrier." "Pathfinder, with me," Hyun said. He took manual control of his ship, something captains rarely did. "We're going for the carrier's bridge. If we can take out their command, the escorts will have to withdraw to protect what's left." "That's a suicide run," Bo Young said. "Yes," Hyun agreed. "It is. Anyone who wants to leave, get to the escape pods now. No judgment. No shame." No one moved. "All right then," Hyun said. "Let's make it count." The Pathfinder dove toward the wounded carrier, dodging debris and weapons fire. 3 escort ships pursued, their weapons tearing chunks from Pathfinder's hull. The ship shook violently. Alerts screamed from every console. Hull breach on Deck 3, someone reported. Deck 4. Deck 6. We're losing pressure everywhere. Keep going, Hyun said. He could see the carrier's bridge section now, a dome of reinforced glass and metal. Arm all remaining missiles. Set them for impact detonation. That will destroy us too, the weapons officer said. I know, Hyun replied. Fire on my mark. The Pathfinder closed the distance. 50 kilometers. 30. 10. Dominion weapons fire cut through the engines. The ship lost power, coasting forward on momentum alone. Fire, Hyun ordered. The last missiles launched from dying tubes. They covered the short distance in seconds and struck the carrier's bridge. The explosions were beautiful and terrible. The bridge section shattered. The carrier's command center, and everyone in it, ceased to exist. The Pathfinder drifted past the dying carrier, its own systems failing. Hyun opened a channel to all ships. Human and Dominion both. This is Captain Hyun of Earth. We are not conquered. We never will be. Tell your Dominion Council that humans do not surrender. Tell them we choose death over slavery. Tell them that every species watching this will remember what happened here. You came to exterminate us, and we made you bleed first. We are humanity. We walk where fear cannot reach. He closed the channel and looked at his crew. It's been an honor serving with all of you. The Dominion escorts ceased firing. For a long moment, space was silent, except for the sound of dying ships and escaping atmosphere. Then, impossibly, the escorts turned and accelerated away, leaving the crippled carrier behind. They entered hyperspace and vanished. They retreated, Hana said in disbelief. They actually retreated. No, Bo Young said, checking her sensors. They withdrew. There's a difference. They're going back to report. To tell the Dominion Council that humanity is everything they feared. Of the 600 ships that attacked, 41 survived. The Pathfinder was not among them. It lost hull integrity 10 minutes after the battle ended. Hyun and his crew made it to the escape pods, but watched their ship die from a distance. Earth's communications networks exploded with the news. Humanity had attacked a Dominion fleet, had destroyed their diplomatic carrier, had forced their escorts to withdraw. It was insane. It was impossible. It was the first time in 12,000 years that any species had drawn Dominion blood. Some called it humanity's finest hour. Others called it the action that would get everyone killed. Both were probably right. In orbit around a distant Dominion world, the Council convened an emergency session. They watched recordings of the battle in silence. When the recordings ended, the eldest member spoke. They have the markers, just like the primordials. They do not fear death. They cannot be controlled through threat of extinction. Then we escalate, another member said. The Great Armada. Full extermination protocol. Turn their world to ash. Leave nothing that could inspire others. The vote was unanimous. The Great Armada, 3,000 of the Dominion's finest warships, received their orders. Destination: Earth. Objective: complete extinction of humanity. They would arrive in 60 days. Earth spent 60 days preparing for the end of everything. Every nation put aside old conflicts. Every factory retooled for war production. Every person who could hold a weapon trained for combat. They knew they could not win. The planet unified in a way it never had before. Brought together by the certainty of extinction, Captain Hyun, now called the Butcher of the Concordance by some, and the Savior of Humanity by others, coordinated Earth's defense from a hastily built command station. He had not slept properly in weeks. None of them had. Final count, he said at the morning briefing. How many ships do we have? Kwan pulled up the numbers. 823 combat-capable vessels. Another 200 that can fight but won't last long. Every civilian ship with weapons. Every military vessel we can crew. It's everyone. Captain, if we lose this battle, there's nothing left to fight with. Against 3,000 Dominion warships, Bo Young said quietly. She looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes from weeks of research. The math is clear. We cannot win. We don't need to win, Hyun said. We just need to hurt them enough that they remember us. That other species see what we did and find their own courage. Hana entered the room, her face grim. I just received a message. 3 species have made contact with us. Secretly. The Naru, the Peth, and the Ven. They're subjugated species inside the Dominion. They saw what we did to the Eternal Concordance. Are they offering help? Quan asked. No, they can't risk it. But they sent us intelligence. Fleet movements. Weapon specifications. Weak points in Dominion ship designs. Hana set down a data chip. They also sent a message. It said, "We cannot fight with you, but we will remember you. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten." Great comfort, Quan said bitterly. They'll remember us while we're dead. It's more than we had before, Hyun said. He took the data chip. Every bit of information helps. Bo Young loaded the data and began analyzing it. What she found made her go pale. Captain, you need to see this. The intelligence confirms what I discovered. The Dominion isn't just exterminating us. They're afraid of us. She pulled up ancient records the allied species had stolen. The primordials. The species that fought the Dominion 12,000 years ago. They had the same genetic markers we do, complete absence of existential fear when facing extinction. They fought for 200 years. The Dominion killed billions of them. But the primordials destroyed entire Dominion worlds. First, they lost because they ran out of numbers, not courage. So we're going to lose the same way, Hana said. Maybe, Bo Young said. But there's something else. The primordials left something behind. The Dominion found it after they won. Some kind of weapon. The records are incomplete. But it scared the Dominion so badly they've hidden all information about it. The allied species only found fragments. What kind of weapon? Hyun asked. I don't know. The records call it the final answer. Whatever it was, the primordials built it when they knew they were losing. They never got to use it because the Dominion found and destroyed it first. Or they think they destroyed it. Quan leaned forward. Are you saying there might be primordial technology out there? Weapons we could use? I'm saying the Dominion is terrified of something more than just species who don't fear death. They're terrified of what those species might build when they have nothing left to lose. Before they could discuss it further, alarms sounded throughout the station. The sensor officer's voice came over the intercom, shaking with fear. Contact. Multiple contacts. Hyperspace signatures detected at the edge of the system. It's them. The Great Armada has arrived. Hyun ran to the command center. The screens showed what looked like a star field. But the stars were moving. 3,000 ships dropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation. The fleet was so massive, it created its own gravitational effects, bending light around its edges. All ships to battle stations, Hyun ordered. Execute defensive plan Omega. For whatever time we have left, we make them pay for every meter of space. Earth's fleet deployed, 1,000 ships against 3,000, children against gods. But the children had teeth, and they were not afraid to bite. The Dominion fleet did not waste time on warnings or demands. They opened fire immediately. Their first salvo destroyed Luna Base, humanity's moon outpost. 2,000 people died in an instant. The second salvo targeted Europa Station. Another 3,000 dead. Return fire, Hyun commanded, his voice steady despite the horror unfolding. All weapons. Show them what we are. The human fleet engaged, and space lit up with weapons fire. Humanity's ships were smaller, weaker, slower. But they fought with a ferocity that made the Dominion fleet hesitate. Human vessels would ram enemy ships when weapons failed. Crews would detonate their own reactors if it meant taking a Dominion ship with them. Pilots flew into kill zones that should have been suicide runs, and somehow came out alive on pure skill and rage. On the third day of battle, Ambassador Hana's ship took a direct hit. She broadcasted a final message before her vessel broke apart. "Tell Earth. Tell everyone. We chose this. We chose to stand. Remember that. Remember we were free." Her death was one of millions. The battle became a meat grinder. Humanity lost 10 ships for every Dominion vessel they destroyed. But they kept fighting, kept dying, kept making the Dominion bleed. Bo Young worked frantically in her lab, analyzing the intelligence from the allied species. "I found something," she transmitted to Hyun on day 5. A reference to the primordial weapon. It wasn't a physical device. It was information. A blueprint, and the primordials scattered copies of it across the galaxy before they fell. "Where?" Hyun asked, his voice hoarse from days without sleep. "I don't know. But I know what it does. It's a quantum destabilizer. It can tear open hyperspace itself, create a rift that would destroy everything in a system. Maybe multiple systems." Quan appeared on the channel. "How big of a rift?" "Big enough to swallow the Dominion's core worlds if deployed correctly. The primordials were going to use it as a final threat. Mutually assured destruction on a galactic scale. Surrender or we destroy everything, including ourselves." "Did they build it?" Hyun asked. "The records suggest they did. Multiple copies. But the Dominion found and destroyed them all. Or so they think. The allied species intelligence suggests one might still exist. Hidden. Waiting." "Where?" Quan demanded. "It doesn't say. The trail goes cold. But..." Bo Young hesitated. "There's a strange energy reading I've been tracking. Coming from Earth's asteroid belt. Something that doesn't match any known technology. I thought it was a sensor error. But what if it's not?" Quan's expression changed. "I've been working on something," he admitted. "In secret. A weapon. I found strange technology in the asteroid belt years ago. Buried in a rock that was older than the solar system. I've been reverse engineering it, trying to understand it. I thought it was Dominion tech we could copy. But what if it's primordial? I've been reverse engineering it. Can you activate it?" Hyun asked. "Maybe, but the power requirements are insane. If I'm reading the designs right, it would take every reactor in Earth's fleet just to charge it. And then it would destroy everything in the system when it fired, Earth included." Silence on the channel. The three of them understood what that meant. A weapon that could threaten the Dominion's core worlds, but only at the cost of humanity's complete annihilation. "We're dying anyway," Hyun said finally. "We've lost 600 ships in 5 days. At this rate, we'll all be dead in a week. But if we can make them afraid, if we can threaten their home worlds, maybe they'll back down, or maybe they'll call our bluff," Bo Young said. "Then we don't bluff," Quan said quietly. "We make it real. We show them we're willing to drag them into extinction with us." That's what the primordials understood. The only way to make fearless species back down is to threaten something they can't replace. Their home. Their people. Everything they've built. Hyun made the hardest decision of his life. Begin charging the weapon. Broadcast our intentions to the Dominion fleet. Tell them if they don't withdraw, we'll destroy their core worlds, and mean it. "Captain," Bo Young protested. "If we fire, Earth dies. Everyone dies. We're already dead," Hyun said. "This way, we die as humans who made a choice, who proved we could walk where fear cannot reach. And maybe, just maybe, we save other species from suffering the same fate." The weapon began to charge, drawing power from every human ship in the system. The fleet's combat capability dropped to near zero as reactors diverted all energy to Quan's hidden device. The Dominion fleet pressed their advantage, destroying ship after ship, but Hyun broadcast his message on all frequencies. "To the Dominion. To allied species. To anyone listening across the galaxy, this is Captain Hyun of Earth. We know what you fear. We found what the primordials left behind. A weapon that can destroy your core worlds. You can kill us, but we'll take your homes with us. You have one chance. Withdraw your fleet, or we fire. We will not bluff. We will not surrender. Choose. The Dominion fleet stopped firing. For the first time in 12,000 years, they faced species that truly did not fear death. And those species had found the weapon their ancestors feared most. The Great Armada hung in space like a promise of death. 3,000 ships, enough firepower to turn a star into a supernova, waiting for orders. Inside the flagship, the Dominion commanders debated humanity's threat. On Earth's command station, Captain Hyun watched the weapon charge. Numbers climbed on his screen, showing power building to unimaginable levels. Kwon had been right about the technology. It was old, older than human civilization, older than the Dominion itself. The primordials had built something that could crack reality and hidden it in places their enemies would never think to look, like a primitive asteroid belt orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. Weapon at 60% charge, Kwon reported. His hands moved across alien controls that he barely understood. At this rate, we'll reach firing capacity in 12 hours. After that, we have maybe 30 seconds to decide. Fire or power down. There's no middle ground. Bo Young monitored the Dominion fleet's communications. They're arguing. Some want to call our bluff. Others are terrified we actually found a primordial weapon. Their council is trying to verify if we're telling the truth. Let them verify, Hyun said. We are telling the truth. We have the weapon. We will use it. Captain. Bo Young's voice shook. If we fire this, Earth dies. Our sun might die. The explosion could sterilize half the solar system. Everyone watching from the colonies, from the outer stations. They'll all burn. I know, Hyun said quietly. I've made my peace with it. Hours passed. The weapon continued charging. The Dominion fleet held position, weapons ready but not firing. Humanity's remaining ships formed a defensive sphere around the asteroid belt, protecting the weapon with what little strength they had left. On the 10th hour, a transmission came from the Dominion flagship. An alien appeared on screen, different from the ones they had seen before. It was ancient, its scales faded to gray, its eyes holding the weight of millennia. I am Council Elder Tesh. I have ruled the Dominion for 8,000 of your years. In that time, I have seen species rise and fall. I have watched civilizations burn. I have ordered the extinction of races that threatened the order we have built. The alien's voice was like stone grinding against stone. I was there when we fought the primordials. I remember what they were capable of. And I remember the weapon they built. Hyun said nothing, waiting. You have found one of their weapons, Tesh continued. Our sensors confirm it. The energy signature matches our ancient records. You are not bluffing. No, Hyun agreed. We are not. Then you understand what firing it will do. You will die. Your world will die. Everything you have built will turn to ash. For what? Revenge? Pride? For the right to remain human, Hyun said. You demanded we change who we are. Modify our minds. Enslave our children. We would rather die as ourselves than live as your pets. Tesh was silent for a long moment. The primordials said the same thing. We thought they were insane. We thought no rational species would choose extinction over adaptation. But they chose it anyway. They fought us for 200 years, knowing they would lose. And in the end, they built weapons like the one you have found. Weapons designed not to win wars but to make victory meaningless. What happened to them? Hyun asked. We destroyed them. Every world, every station, every ship. We scoured the galaxy clean of their existence. But it cost us more than any war before or since. They killed billions of our people, destroyed worlds we had held for thousands of years, made us afraid for the first time in our history. Tesh's eyes burned with ancient memory. We swore we would never face such a species again. That is why we test new civilizations. That is why we demand compliance. To prevent another primordial war. And now you have one anyway, Hyun said. Yes, because you carry the same genetic markers, the same inability to submit to fear. You are what we have spent 12,000 years trying to prevent. So what happens now? Hyun asked. You can kill us. We can kill you. Everyone loses. Is that what 12,000 years of civilization has earned you? Mutual destruction? Tesh looked at something off-screen. The pause stretched into minutes. When the elder spoke again, something had changed in its voice. The council has voted. By the smallest margin in our history, we have decided to withdraw the Great Armada. You will be given a choice we have never given before. Exist outside our compliance protocols. Remain independent. Keep your genetic markers. Keep your freedom. But remain in your solar system. If you expand beyond it, we will return and finish what we started. Hyun could not believe what he was hearing. You're letting us live? We are choosing to avoid another primordial war. You have one star system. We have millions. You have one planet. We have thousands. The cost of exterminating you is too high when you possess that weapon. So we quarantine you instead. Live in your system. Die in your system. But do not spread. Those are our terms. And if we refuse, if we expand anyway, then we return with a fleet, 10 times this size, and accept whatever losses you inflict. We will win, because we have the numbers. But it will cost us dearly. So we offer you this choice. Prison or death. Choose wisely. Hyun looked at Bo Young and Kwon. Both looked exhausted, hollow from days of waiting to die. What do you think? He asked them. It's a cage, Kwon said. But it's a cage we can live in. For now, we survive. Bo Young added. And survival means we have a future. We can find another way later. But only if we're alive. Hyun knew they were right. Humanity had lost 600 ships. Billions had died on Earth from the Dominion's initial bombardment. They had nothing left to fight with. But they had proven something. They had made the Dominion afraid. We accept. Hyun transmitted. Humanity will remain in our solar system. We will not expand beyond it. For now. But Elder Tesh, understand this. We have shown the galaxy what your Dominion truly is. We have shown other species that you can bleed, that you can be defied. Word of what happened here will spread, and someday, another species will stand up like we did. And another. And another. You may have quarantined us, but you cannot quarantine the idea we have spread. Perhaps, Tesh said, or perhaps you will remain an isolated curiosity. A species too dangerous to join civilization. Too costly to destroy. Time will tell. The Great Armada withdraws. Do not make us return. The transmission ended. The massive fleet began to pull back. Ships entering hyperspace in precise formations. Within an hour, the last Dominion vessel disappeared, leaving humanity alone in their solar system. Stand down the weapon, Hyun ordered. Begin power down sequence. Captain, Kwon said. Should we really power it down? It's our only defense if they come back. We power it down, Hyun repeated. We're not the primordials. We don't let ourselves be defined by our weapons. We survived. That's enough for today. The weapon began its shutdown cycle, strange energies dissipating back into the asteroid that had hidden it for 12,000 years. Humanity's fleet limped back to Earth, carrying their wounded and their dead. 10 years passed. Earth rebuilt. The solar system became a fortress. Every planet and moon bristling with defenses. Humanity knew the Dominion could return at any moment. So they prepared constantly. But they also lived. Had children. Dreamed. Remained human. Captain Hyun became Admiral Hyun, commander of Earth's home defense fleet. His hair turned gray. Lines appeared on his face. But his eyes stayed sharp, always watching the stars for signs of the Dominion's return. Dr. Bo Young led what she called the Liberation Project. She made contact with subjugated species inside the Dominion, sharing information, encouraging resistance. 17 alien civilizations formed a secret alliance, coordinating their defiance. The Dominion tried to stop them, but the idea was out. Species that had lived in fear for thousands of years began to remember what courage looked like. Operative Quan became Earth's intelligence director. He built networks across the galaxy, gathering information about the Dominion's movements, and he continued studying the primordial weapon, learning its secrets, preparing for the day humanity might need it again. A new generation rose, people who had never known a time before the Dominion's threat. Tay, Ambassador Hana's younger brother, became Earth's voice to the allied species. He was more cautious than his sister had been, but no less determined. Nari, a young pilot who had lost her parents in the Great Armada's attack, joined the defense fleet. She flew with a recklessness that terrified her commanders and inspired her fellow pilots. She had never known fear. The Dominion had tried to burn it out of humanity, but instead they had forged a generation that could not be made to kneel. On the 10th anniversary of the Great Armada's withdrawal, Admiral Hyun stood on the observation deck of his flagship, looking at Earth below. Quan appeared beside him, silent as always. They found something, Quan said without preamble. Deep space sensors. Strange signals coming from beyond Dominion space. The same frequency as the primordial weapon. More weapons? Hyun asked. Maybe. Or maybe something else. The signals are moving, coming toward our galaxy. The Dominion knows. That's why they've been reorganizing their fleets. They're not preparing to fight us. They're preparing for something else. The primordials, Hyun said quietly. They're coming back, or something like them. Bo Young's research suggests the primordials didn't die out. They transcended, became something beyond physical form. But maybe they left something behind. Or maybe they're returning to finish what they started 12,000 years ago. Hyun watched Earth spin slowly below. And what does that mean for us? It means the Dominion is going to need allies. Maybe even allies they once tried to exterminate. Maybe even humans. Or, Hyun said, it means we finally have a chance to break free of this cage. If the Dominion is distracted by something bigger, maybe we can expand. Find other worlds. Spread humanity across the stars. That would break our agreement, Quan pointed out. The agreement was made under threat of extinction. But if the Dominion faces something that threatens them more than we do, maybe the rules change, Quan smiled. You want to help them fight, then betray them when they're weak. I want humanity to survive and expand. I want future generations to have more than one solar system. If that means working with our enemies temporarily, so be it. We're human. We adapt. We survive. We do what must be done. Warning signals began flashing across the observation deck. Something was emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Not Dominion ships. Something else. Something very old. Get me visual, Hyun ordered. The screens showed a single vessel. It was organic in shape, grown rather than built. Its hull pulsed with light that seemed to come from within, and its energy signature matched the primordial weapon perfectly. A transmission came through, in perfect human language, though the voice was ancient and strange. Humanity, children of Earth, you who walk where fear cannot reach. We have been watching. We approve. The time has come for you to choose. Remain in your cage, or join us in the dark spaces between galaxies. Join us in resisting the Dominion's order. Join us in fighting for the right of all species to remain themselves. Hyun looked at Quan. At Earth below. At the stars beyond. What do we do? Quan asked. Hyun smiled. After 10 years of waiting, of preparing, of wondering if humanity's defiance had mattered, they had their answer. They had proven themselves worthy. Not to the Dominion, but to the ones who had fought before, the ones who had refused to kneel. We answer the call, Hyun said. We step out of the cage, and we show the galaxy what humanity really is. We walked where fear could not reach. Now we run. He opened the channel to the primordial ship and spoke the words that would change humanity's future forever. We accept. Show us the way.